Hi, welcome everybody. This is my home library. Had a lot of questions on what do I like to read and why I have so many dang books. So this is just going to go over some of them, the reasons why I like them, and what I recommend. Now, as you can see, I do have a lot of books. This is just partial. I have a whole bookshelf over here. I have a bunch of books on the ground right here. I have bookshelves in the back. Every kid has a bookshelf, and then I have this wall as a bookshelf. Lots of books. You have to be able to read books as a technical writer. You need to have very specific books as a professional writer. You're going to have a lot more, right? And so we'll kind of go through those really quick here so I don't bore you. Now, I initially filmed this. My voice is a little raspy because I initially filmed it and it was about a 45-minute video. I don't want to bore you with 45 minutes of videos. We'll just go to direct sections and I'll kind of show you what I have. So up on this section over here, I have a lot of technical books for optics and telescope making. So when you're a technical writer, you never know what you're going to write. You never know what material they're going to give you. So you got to be prepared. So I do a lot of actual technical writing in science. So I do have a lot of science-based books. Now this top shelf here, over by the globe, that's kind of my specialty section. Really hard to find mathematic books. Those mathematic books, I really like them because they break down mathematical terms so anybody could understand them. I'm not a big fan of math, but when you're writing about math, you better understand math, right? So those books really help me understand more about math. This is all on editing. As a writer, I'm not an editor, I am a writer, but you have to be able to provide your editor with good content, clean content. Your copy should always be as clean as possible. Make their job a lot easier, and then it will reflect on you. So the better you learn how to edit your work, the better off you are going to be. Now these are my style guides right here. I have over 250 style guides in total. Right here is just a little bit of them. These are the ones that I use the most. You'll see these big orange ones. These are Chicago, the Chicago Manual of Style. I use that almost exclusively now, but I also have American Medical Association Manual of Style, and then the GPO is the Government Manual of Style. Those are the ones that I use the most often. This next section over here is all the writers' workshops, the writers' market books. That's how you find jobs, right? You have to go out, and after you publish some work, you have to put yourself out there. And the easiest way of doing that is getting your copy of Writer's Market, finding the genre that you want to write for, and start pitching and cold calling some of these publications. It's a hustle. So professional writing is a hustle. So you definitely need to be out there hustling. So having those as guides makes your life a lot easier. My favorite section is here. This is my dictionary section. I'm a firm believer that there is one perfect word for what you're trying to say, but it's almost impossible to actually find out what that word is. So the reason why I have a lot of libraries is because one word can have multiple meanings. This green book right here is Blacklaw's Dictionary. That's the one that I use the most as a technical writer. Barron's has some fantastic books. So this is Dictionary of Computer and Internet Terms, Dictionary of Finance and Investment Terms. These are actually older copies. Every 5 years I need to buy new ones. These are just hitting... Actually, I think these have just hit 6 or 7 years old. So they update them, but my whole goal is this next year to have the complete set, which is like 40 of these. And then I'll stop buying dictionaries. Some of the thesauruses, I have the traditional one, and then I have very specialty ones. Let's grab a couple of these. The Writers Helping Writers, if you go on the Writers Helping Writers website, they have a series of books. These are all specific thesauruses. This one's a writer's guide to character attributes. This is all the positive things on a character. on how to describe your character in a positive way. These books for fiction have been really important for me because I'm not a fiction writer. I'm a non-fiction writer, but you still have to develop characters, and it's hard for me as a non-fiction writer to develop characters because that's not what I do. So I need a little bit of extra help. These books are old English grammar and composition books. So it's from the 11th grade, 1948 to 1952. These were published. Fantastic books. Sometimes the old books are a lot better than the newer books. And in a lot of the English books, English composition, writing, and grammar, the old books tend to be a lot better than the new books. So I have a whole set. Okay, this whole bookshelf right here is just on words. I have probably 50 books that are just how to choose the right word for your writing. This one's all on prose. It's just general writing and prose. This section right here is all on money, how to make money in business. You're a writer, so you're a writer, you better know business. You better understand the process of owning your own business. Even though you might be working for somebody else, that's the beauty of writing. You can always work for yourself. So always have your own business. Here's some more prose books. Right here are all quotations. Books on quotes, specific quotes, where quotes came from, so you're getting the most accurate information. The bottom shelf are all fraud books, so you don't need to see those. Some police books, related books. This bookshelf, I don't know if you can see it. Nope, can't. Those are just all leadership and self-help books. So you got to be kind of well-rounded. All right, let's go to this next section. All right, moving the camera around a little bit. These are all more police-related. A lot of leadership, police leadership, some interrogation ones. The ones on the floor actually are all the forensic files, like the forensic terminology, how they do DNA, how they do fingerprints, like the very specific in that genre. So a lot of my crime fiction writers gotta get real fiction, or you gotta get real non-fiction books to be able to write crime fiction, right? Police related, here's some more business stuff and tax books. Here's fiction. I'm a big Tom Wolfe fan. He writes, his fiction writing is probably the best that I've seen as far as a fiction writer goes. So I highlight his books and I study his books on how he writes. So I take a lot of time. It might take me up to a year to go through just one of his books, analyzing it. Steven Pinker, he's an excellent writer, one of my favorites. Malcolm Gladwell. These books are all Tim Ferriss's, very easy to read. Tools of Titans, 4-Hour Work Week, 4-Hour Body. I have them all. Some legal books, Idiot's Guides to stuff. The Idiot's Guides books are very useful for technical writers because they do break down concepts into easy to use chunks. So pretty good. More nonfiction Mozart books, Chuck Norris, some comedy books here, more true crime books down the bottom, and then I have a lot of books on the brain, the nature of the brain. This one is the owner's manual of the brain. This one is pretty big, but this one tells you everything about your brain. So if you're into science writing, this one is highly useful. And the last shelf is all of my religious books down there and some parenting books. So this is my library, everybody. Let me turn this. Well, I hope you enjoyed my library. This is what I have. Like I said, I could spend about 45 minutes, an hour talking about just the books that I have in my library. I won't bore you too much with that. Most important thing to know is you gotta read, have to read. You not only have to read, but you have to start collecting your own books. As a writer, get some good writing books. If you're on any of my courses, I recommend all the probably 10 books that you need to start as a new writer. And then as a technical writer, start getting into more specific dictionaries and technical writing books. That's going to really help you. Even though I'm not a fiction writer, I still have some fiction books because I analyze that, because learning how to write good fiction is going to make it a lot easier to write good nonfiction and eventually get into creative nonfiction. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.